Alright, this video is to show you how to put in a linear regression into a TI-84 and to put it into something like Desmos so that you can do a line of linear regression at home if you need to. So we're doing lines of best fit. The information that we are working with and here in Chapter 1, Section 4, we've already done this problem in example 3, and you're going to go into your graphing calculator. You're going to make a screen that looks like this. We're going to go into the list screen. In order to do that, number one, you got to turn on your graphing calculator. And then what we're doing is a statistic thing. We're taking lots of data points. When you do data points, you're doing stats. So we're going to click the stat button. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into number 1 and we're going to push edit. And what we want to do is we want to enter all of those data points. So I'm going to enter 40, I'm going to enter 45, I'm going to enter 32, I'm going to enter 50, I'm going to enter 37, I'm going to enter 41, I'm going to enter 30, and example 3 has more things, I think. Let's see, go back up to example 3. Where'd that chart go? Oh, there it is. 34, oh, go back. 30, 34, 47, and 45. Okay, then I'm going to slide over to list 2, and I'm going to go 170, 183, 151, 195, 162, 174, 141, 151, 185, 182. All right. Once I get my entire set of both lists in, X's go in list 1, Y's go in list 2, then I do what's called a linear regression. Okay. We just put that into the stat button, so we're going to go back into that stat button. Okay. We don't need to edit our list. We don't need to clear our lists. But we need to calculate a linear regression. Okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, go down to number 4, push enter, or you can actually even just tap number 4. You don't even have to go down on the list. You can just tap the number it is. Make sure your X list matches. X's you put in L1, Y's you put in L2 if you need to change that. Okay, L1 is on the number 1 button and it's blue, so you push second and you go blue, and you get list 1. My lists are good, so then you go down to calculate and you push enter. Okay, and then it's going to give you the linear regression. A, or your M, your slope value, is going to be here. So when you write your equation y equals, you're going to put this, the A, just like it shows you in the picture. And we're going to round to 2 decimal places. Different things will ask you to round in different places, but 2 is good enough. Your B, your y-intercept, is going to be at 64.99. That 6 makes it go up, so 65.00 for significant figures. Now, what we're missing in our window is the R value, and that's a mode thing on the calculator. So if you go to mode, and you scroll down to the second page, and you go to stat diagnostics, if you turn those on, and you go back to stat calc number 4, and go down to the bottom, calculate, it'll give you that R value. And the R, the closer you are to 1, the closer the line is to touching all of the dots. The closer to 0 you are, the more it doesn't touch any of the dots. Okay? And then they go into graphing this. In order to graph that, you've got to change the window on your graph and do all those kind of things. So when it says to evaluate for 35 centimeters long, just take the equation that you write. See, they rounded to a whole number here, and they rounded to a tenth here. Just take the equation you write and put that into y equals. You don't have to worry about plotting all of the dot points. Okay, just go ahead and take that and clear that out and put it into y equals. So 2.6, whatever it was that we got. I'm just going to do 2.6 like they did, plus 65. Okay, zoom 6, put that back to standard. Of course, it's not going to be on my graph because this only goes up to 10 and it starts at 65, but hopefully if I push trace, I could put in what I want to do is calculate. So I'm going to go calculate, and I'm going to calculate a value. And then I'm going to put in 35. And it says that I can't do it because it's not in the window. So I could go to the table, and I could scroll down to 35. Almost. 156. Okay, so you can do it like that. So that's one way to do it. You can do it with the graphing calculator. Now, if you have Desmos, and I'm going to try to do this, see if I can bring this forward and shrink it and squeeze it this way so we can see all of this stuff. Let's close that down. Okay, there we go. Just so I can see the list here. Go back up. If you have Desmos, okay, it can do linear regressions. It's not very intuitive on how to do a linear regression. You could pick a different app if you wanted to. You could download any linear regression app. Just go to the App Store, type in linear regression. A bunch of people have made apps for it, so you can get a free one, type it in there. But if you're not sure how to do something in any application, you can always go to the question mark of the help feature. If we do that, there's regressions right there, and it actually does a little walkthrough. Okay, first let's get some data. Well, we have data in a chart, so note you can add your own data instead by clicking the plus button. So I click the plus button. Click here to make a table. So that's where I put my data. So I put 40, 45, 32, 50, 37, 41, 30, 34, 47, 45. Okay, and then I'm going to put my Y data, 170, 183, 151, 195, 162, 174, 141, 151, 185, 182. Okay, then I click here to add a new item, and I'm going to add an expression. And I'm going to type exactly what they tell me right here. Y1, and that's a tilde, the squiggly line, it's about equal m x1 plus b, and then hint. To get y1, type y1. Hint. To get the squiggly, it's in your ABC over here. So I'm going to type y1, then I'm going to switch to ABC, and my squiggly is right there. I'm going to switch back, and then we got m x1 plus b. Okay. Now let's check the model. Residuals are the difference between your data and your model. Click here to add them to your graph and plot them on the graph. Well, we don't even really care about that. What we care about is the R value right here. We're pretty close to 0, so that, or to 1, so that's nice. And then we care about our M and our B. The TI calls it A and B, but here we actually use slope and intercept, which is nice. 2.6 and 64.996, which is 65, which is what we got. Okay. So that's pretty good right there. I like being able to do that. So that'll give you the equation that you need. So then you could type in your y equals 2.6 x plus 65. And if I go back home, well, I got to zoom out. It gives me that line there. So I've got all my data plots and the line of regression. Okay, and I can plug in that line there, and then I should be able to, we'll see if this works, x equals 5 is what I'd want it to do. If I put in a different letter in here, let's see if I put in A, and then I say A equals 5. It does the same. Oh, there we go. Gives me a y is 78. Which I don't think is correct. Oh, yeah, it is if you put in 5. It's not if you put in what they ask you for, which if we go back over to the question, it says do 35. So if we put in 35, it's 156. Okay. Did that work with x if I did the same thing with x? Let's see. X. Change that to x. Did it do it? It didn't do it. Works with an A, doesn't work with an x. I don't like that. X equals 35. Why won't you figure that out? But anyway, that's kind of a way to be able to use that to solve.